What's up, everyone? Eli here. I got a black metal video to do today. It's gonna be just like that death metal one I did, but only black metal this time. So basically, it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty cool to talk about. I chose 20 albums once again. I just felt like 20 is a good number. 10 is too few. I could have probably gone for 30 or 40, but then I just don't have the fucking patience or the endurance to do that. So anyway, 20 albums. I'm gonna do it in 2 videos. So here's gonna be not the first 10, but the last 10, 20 through 11 or whatever. I don't know numbers. But anyway, yeah, this video goes out to all of you. Pretty much everyone that's ever commented on my videos has been really cool as fuck. It's been cool to get to know you. I know I say that in almost every video. I'm a fucking dork. But anyway, this particular video goes out to a Cassette is God. Cheers, brother. I went out and got a Heineken so I can be cool like you. You drink one of these in like every one of your videos, and I hadn't had a Heineken in a long time, and it's pretty good from what I remember. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Anyways, all that bullshit aside, here we go. 10 black metal albums. I didn't really put these in much of an order. I contemplated what I was going to do. Was I going to do like in order of, you know, the ones chronologically that I got into, but I'm like, that's just a lot of brain work. Didn't really want to do that. Was I going to do, you know, in orders of my favorites? I kind of did a combination of the two. They're kind of in order as you know, the order I got into them by, but not really. So anyways, fuck it. So yeah, this is not necessarily going to be in any order. It's kind of a combination of when I got into them and the amount of inspiration they had on me. I don't know. That hardly makes sense. But anyway, let's fucking do this. If anyone's still hanging on. Alright, number 20, we have Cradle of Filth. Sorry, I'm fucking drunk already, apparently. Cradle of Filth, Dusk in Her Embrace. Yeah, we all know this one, right? I've seen this already in a lot of videos, which is pretty cool to know. I mean, I kind of thought I'd see Principle of Cruelty Made Flesh. Is that what it's called? Their first album. Kind of thought I'd see that a little more, but it seems to be a lot of people seem to be going for this one. And I've actually never owned that album, Principle of blah 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 makes blah blah blah. But this one's already, I've heard it, but this one's always been really fucking cool to me. I don't know, man. I'm sure I should expect a bunch of people calling me a douchebag for liking Cradle of Filth, but I don't give a fuck. It's a good album. I mean, it still holds. I still listen to it once in a while. It still works for me, you know? I mean, what can we say about Cradle of Filth? I really like their earlier stuff. I like some of their mid to later stuff. I mean, none of it's ever really been that awful to me, but then I probably haven't heard all their stuff. I've heard like 80% of it. I don't know, man. This album's it's good. I mean, the musicianship is really good. I feel like the songwriting is really good. The lyrics. You ever read the lyrics to some of their songs? They're pretty fucking good lyrics. We got Nicholas Barker's drumming. Perfect drumming for this kind of music. You know, I don't know what else I can say. I mean, England has always been kind of a weird country for black metal. Maybe not so much now, but back in when did this come out? 96 or whatever. They were one of the few black metal bands in England. I feel like they had their own thing going on. They were not ripping off the Dark Throne or Emperor. I mean, shit, man. If you're gonna rip on them, at least, you know, look at some of the qualities that they brought to the table. All right, number 2, we have Dimmu Borgir, Spiritual Black Dimensions. Yeah. This is the first Dimmu Borgir album I ever heard, and probably the second or third black metal album I ever owned. I like Dimmu Borgir. I really like their first 3 albums. I think those are classics to this day. This is their 4th album. So this album was kind of a in-between album, I would say. It kind of divided their early stuff into their later stuff. You know, they were getting progressively more symphonic and, you know, bombastic, and some people might say cheesy, but I never really saw them that way necessarily. I mean, yeah, they have a little bit, you know, they have more of a mainstream sound, I guess, than your average, you know, raw black metal band. But fuck, man, I mean, they're still, you can call them mainstream, but they're still bringing, you know, satanic lyrics and stuff like that, dark imagery with them to the said mainstream. So, I know, how can you really have that much of a problem with that? Get over it. Number shit, what was that? That was number 18. Number 17, we have Satyricon, Volcano. I love Satyricon. I like almost every album they've ever done, and this one's really no exception. This is the first Satyricon album I ever heard. Sadly, I can't say it was one of their first three albums. I fucking love their first three albums, but this is the one. This is the one I heard first. It's a good album. I can't remember. I think I liked it a little bit at first, and then I would go on to kind of to not like it that much. I don't know. My interest fluctuated. For a while I thought it was a crap album, and then I went back to it after a couple of years after that, and I think it holds up. I think it's pretty fucking good. I mean, it's got 8 songs on here that don't all sound the same. I mean, that's what songwriting's all about, isn't it? It's got you got like, what was it? You got like Possessed on here, which is like a kind of a cool old school sounding thrash song. You got number 8, Black Lava, which is it's like a 9 or 10 minute kind of droning black metal epic. I mean, every song on here sounds different, and for what it is, I think it's pretty good. So I don't hear too much talk about that album, but I don't know. I don't know what people think. Number 17, we have Gorgoroth, Twilight of the Idols. This is one of Tom G. Warrior's favorite black metal albums, and I like it a lot, man. I like a lot of Gorgoroth. I don't think anything they've done is bad necessarily either. The last album they did is probably their weakest. Had a new vocalist, and it just didn't sound all that inspired. It was kind of following an album that I thought was pretty good. I have it. I don't remember what the fuck it's called. I can never pronounce it anyway. It was the last one to have Pest on vocals. I thought that album, I always had a weird time describing it. I always thought it sounded incredibly generic, but really well written and really fucking catchy. At the end of the day, I thought it was awesome. Generic and awesome. That's a weird combination. But anyway, Twilight of the Idols was a point in Gorgoroth's career where they kind of started to experiment with different elements. It's kind of an experimental sounding album. I like it. What can I say? I mean, I always thought Gall was, his layered vocals. Always thought sounded very hellish and very, just very captivating. Infernus's, guitar playing is solid always. He's an amazing guitarist for black metal. It's a cool fucking album, man. I should count them. I'm fucking horrible at this. I don't belong ever, making lists of more than 5 because I don't know how to keep track. Number 16, we have Moonspell with Wolfheart. I can't remember if this is the first Moonspell album I heard, but it is definitely the one that stays with me the most. Here's another band that you can make fun of me for liking, but I just don't give a fuck, man. I like a broad variety of things. I like Dark Throne and shit like that as much as the next guy, but I also like Dimir Borgir and Moonspell. Maybe not as much, but I still like him, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. It doesn't matter to me. This is the first pressing, as you can see. It's got that really cool. I've always fucking loved this album cover. The second pressing of this CD, kind of artwork kind of sucked. I also have this signed by Fernando Ribera, as you can see on there. It's pretty cool. I saw Moonspell live, and I caught him. I brought a marker just in case. I was like, maybe I'll get an autograph. I don't always do that, but I do it sometimes. Saw him walking around randomly, just kind of, no one was around. I'm like, fuck, I'll go say hi. I don't usually do that. I walked up to him and asked him if he would sign it. I don't know what I said. I was like, can you sign my CD? And I probably sounded like a bumbling fool, and he's just like, of course. He had this very soft-spoken, well-spoken, very intelligent sounding, and very, very, very sincere, very nice. He was a very cool guy. Talked to him for maybe 2-3 minutes, but got a really good vibe from him. Cool guy. They put on a fucking killer live show, by the way. But anyway, back to the album. Wolfheart is, as most of you probably know if you know Moonspell, this is their first album and the most black metal full-length album, black metal sounding full-length album they ever did. They would go on to, and even on this album, I mean, it's barely black metal. I mean, it's full of melodic and gothic elements and stuff, but they would go even more in many different directions after this. Their demos before this and that EP they did before this were very, very raw black metal, but this one, as far as their full lengths, only black metal, really black metal album. they ever did. If you never heard this album, I'm sure you've heard Moonspell, but just go listen to track 8, Alma Mater, if you haven't heard that. It's a great song, man. I think it's fucking killer. It's probably one of my favorite black metal songs in general. God damn it, I can't get comfortable today. Alright, so that was number 16. We got number 15 with Marduk, World Funeral. Not my favorite Marduk album, but it is a good one. It is the first Marduk album I ever heard, and it was it would kind of set me on the path of this, this kind of black metal that, you know what Marduk do, man. Just Christ-raping, fucking devastating, pedal to the floor black metal. Marduk, band like Marduk, people truly love them or hate them, and I like Marduk a lot. I don't think they've ever done a bad album, or even close. I think everything they've done has been really good in its own way. Some better than others, but yeah. This album I've always found memorable. I feel like Marduk fans are kind of in the middle on this one, but a lot of people seem to like it. I think it's incredibly solid. It's not my favorite Marduk album, but it's by far my least favorite. I think it's pretty fucking killer. It was one of the last albums to have Legion on vocals. It might not have been the last, but it might have been. I don't know. Moving on. All right. I cannot keep track. 14, motherfucker. Number 14. We got Skyforger with, I'm not going to pronounce this because I do not speak any language other than English. I speak English poorly. So there you go. Read that for yourself. This is the debut album from these guys. They're from Latvia. It's really the only Skyforger album I'm showing it to you upside down. It's the only one I ever really got into truly. Never thought they were a bad band by any means, but this is the only one that grabbed me, and the only one that really kept me coming back. If you're not too familiar with Skyforger, this is kind of like in the Moonspell description I gave you. This is the kind of their only real black metal sounding album, and even that, it's not a pure black metal album, but it's their most black metal sounding album. They would go on to do, much more folky and more traditional heavy metal inspired type stuff, but this is the one that I like. Paragon Records. Look up, go to YouTube, and you're on there right now. Goddamn. Listen to the song "The Battle of Saul." There's the spelling for you. Listen to that, man. That song is just a fucking march to war. Makes me want to go get my broadsword and just fucking crush somebody's skull. Great song. It's killer. Love it. All right, number 13. We have Moonsorrow. I always just called this album V. Because I've seen it. Yeah, it's V. And then I'm not finished, so I'm also not even going to try to pronounce that. So anyways, there's that. This is the first Moonsorrow album I ever heard. This is from probably around 10 years ago or so. I think by now I've heard everything they've done, and I own a lot of it. And this is the one that always stuck with me. Yeah, that could be because I heard it first, and you know how that shit goes. But this album I feel is truly fucking amazing. It's 56 minutes. It's 2 songs clocking in almost half an hour apiece. I'm not that into the super folky campfire fucking stuff. That stuff just bores me to tears. I can't get into a lot of it, but I do feel that they did it right with this one. It's almost progressive. It's the songwriting is, it has a beginning, a middle, an end. They're long songs, so they're definitely epics. But I mean, the build up, it's just songwriting is in top form here. It's amazing. Yeah, it's epic as fuck. If you haven't heard this album and you like epic sounding music, just go listen to it. I think you'll like it. Number 12. Get back to my beer here. I'm neglecting it. Number 12, we have Primordial, Storm Before Calm. Oddly enough, I wanted to show To the Nameless Dead, but I couldn't find it. That is actually the album that got me into Primordial, and one of my favorite albums to this day. But I couldn't fucking find it. I don't want to talk about stuff I don't have. But I will talk about that album for a minute until I buy another copy, now that I know I need it. That is a 10 out of 10 album, and that's all I'm going to say. One of the best albums I've ever heard in metal. However, I chose my number 2, which is Storm Before Calm. This is the one of the Metal Blade re-releases they did. So I pulled off the slipcase. Underneath it looks like that. These are digipacks, which, you know, not always too fond of, but they did a pretty good job with these. You know, they've held up. Artwork is cool and everything. This album is also amazing. Man, what can I say about Primordial? By the way, Metal Blade did do a good job with these re-releases because each one of them came with something extra, a bonus disc of something. This one has a bonus DVD of, I think it's an audio DVD, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it's a bonus DVD of Summer Breeze Open Air, August 2004 in Germany. I don't even know if I've ever... Like I said, I think it's an audio DVD. But anyway, that was a cool thing that they did. Bonus shit like that, to me, is awesome. That's the way re-releases should be done. Give people a reason to come buy it. Don't just fucking throw it out there. Anyways, Primordial, man. I know they have a pretty good following these days, and there's probably not much I really need to say about them. But I'll try. I mean, I'll try to say a little bit. I think they're an amazing band. Truly amazing. Probably the first black metal band I ever heard from Ireland. And if you're not familiar with them, God, you should be by now, but they were never like a true black metal band. I mean, they always had their own thing. They always brought, you know, they were always, you know, very Irish sounding. They brought Celtic elements to their sound. I don't want to say folky. I mean, they were maybe a little bit of folk, but not that much. You have the vocals, which are truly unique. Sometimes you get the black metal screams, but I would say even on the early stuff, the black metal vocals are maybe at the most 40 to 50%. The rest is, you know, very powerful, clean singing. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, if you've heard it, you know what I mean. If not, I'm not doing it justice. But if you haven't heard Primordial, definitely check them out. If you like them, check out all their stuff, because it's from beginning to end, every album they've done is definitely a labor of love, not to be missed. Number 11, we're going to end it with Art Noir's debut, Black Thrash Attack, from Century Black. Remember Century Black? That was cool. One of the few cool things Century Media ever did. Yeah, man, you all know Art Noir. Fuck, I don't know. Who doesn't love this band? I mean, some of the, you know, earlier black thrash out of Norway. You have you know, guys out of, you know, from Dodheim's Guard, then Buenazende, Dark Throne, basically a black metal super group, just playing thrash metal, pretty much playing thrash metal, you know, through their Norwegian black metal filter, so to speak. This is their debut album. I love everything this band has ever done. To me, they can do no wrong. Most people say this is by far their best album. I even have a hard time saying that, because I think the stuff that came after this was just, I mean, truly amazing. This is the way I really want thrash to sound. For me, I mean, I do listen to some modern sounding stuff, but the thrash that really gets me going is the basic, just fucking fist pumping, you know, black metal with feeling, or not black metal, but thrash with feeling. I think that's lost in a lot of thrash. I'm a pretty big thrash fan, I would say, but man, I know this video isn't supposed to be about thrash, but I cannot get in a lot of thrash post 88 or so, but man, this album is a ripper. So anyway, that's 10 albums out of 20. I have 10 more that I'll do in my next video. So if you watch this one, watch that one to see my, you know, my top 10, I guess you'd say. But that's it, man. That's all I got. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We'll talk soon. Thanks for stopping by.